Most people say fate is beautiful. Mine looked like a cruel joke carved into brass and glass. Because the moment I touched that ancient clock, the so-called soulmate relic that the university had just unearthed, the golden hand spun wildly and stopped, glowing, on the person I hated most in the world, Ryan Carter. Ryan. The smug, perfect, infuriating Ryan. Star quarterback, campus golden boy, and the bane of my existence since freshman year. I'd spent 3 years avoiding his smirk, his cocky one-liners, his uncanny ability to make me feel small without lifting a finger. And now the universe wanted me to believe he was my soulmate? Looks like you're stuck with me, Ash. His voice slid into the silence of the library, deep and taunting, the kind of voice that could fill a stadium or shatter my patience. He leaned casually against the nearest shelf, arms crossed, like this was all a big joke. I wanted to laugh, or scream, or throw the clock right back at the dusty display case it came from. Instead, I did the worst possible thing. I froze, staring at him, my hand still trembling around the relic. The golden light was undeniable. The relic had chosen. "You've got to be kidding me?" I muttered, shoving the clock back onto the table as if it had burned me. Ryan pushed off the shelf and walked closer, his grin widening. He was too close, all warmth and quiet menace. Guess fate has a sense of humor. Humor. That wasn't what this was. Felt like punishment. Because Ryan and I weren't just rivals, we were enemies forged out of humiliation and pride. He'd beaten me out of the scholarship program I wanted. He'd humiliated me at the debate finals by catching me off guard with a low blow that still burned. And every time I thought I'd managed to shine, he was already there, brighter, louder, impossible to ignore. And now, somehow, my heart was supposed to belong to him. I shoved past him, muttering something about the clock being broken, about myths and legends being nothing but fairy tales. But the truth was, the glow of that relic had sunk under my skin. It pulsed there, steady, like a truth I didn't want but couldn't deny. Ryan followed me out into the cold night air, because of course he did. "So what now?" he asked, his breath fogging in the November chill. "Do we start holding hands? Write our wedding vows? Or do I have to wait until you stop pretending you don't feel it too?" The nerve of him, the absolute nerve. "Don't flatter yourself, Carter." He laughed, low and rough, and for one terrifying second, my chest tightened, because that laugh wasn't cruel. It wasn't mocking. It was real, and I hated how much I noticed the difference. I walked faster, my boots crunching against fallen leaves, but his footsteps matched mine. "Ash," he said suddenly, his tone softer. "I didn't ask for this either, but maybe we should find out why." His words clung to me all the way back to the dorms. The clock was supposed to be a myth, a relic tied to a forgotten ritual about soul-bonded pairs. Most people thought it was a gimmick when the university displayed it. But now that I'd seen it glow, now that I'd felt that electric pull in my chest when Ryan was near, I couldn't unfeel it. Sleep didn't come easy that night. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw his face too close to mine, his breath stirring the cold night air, the way his smile had faltered into something almost vulnerable. And for the first time, I wondered what it would cost me to let go of my hate long enough to see what was underneath. The next day, campus buzzed with rumors. Someone had seen the relic glow. Whispers spread like wildfire. And when Ryan and I accidentally locked eyes across the cafeteria, the room went quiet. Too quiet. Everyone knew. He didn't look smug this time. He looked at me like he was waiting for me to do something reckless. And maybe I did, because instead of glaring, I held his gaze a moment too long. That's when everything shifted. We started meeting in secret. Not because we wanted Tobit, because the relic wouldn't let us ignore it. Whenever we were apart too long, I felt it. A gnawing ache under my ribs, a restlessness that only disappeared when Ryan was near. Terrified me, thrilled me, it made me furious. He showed up outside my dorm one night, rain soaking his hair, eyes blazing. "I can't sleep unless I know you're okay," he said, as if the words had been ripped out of him. And God help me, I pulled him inside. The fight that followed was messy, loud. all sharp words and sharper silences. But when his hand brushed mine, just the barest touch, the air between us snapped. And suddenly I wasn't fighting anymore. I was kissing him. Or maybe he was kissing me. It didn't matter. It was supposed to feel like surrender. Instead, it felt like home. The days that followed were chaos. Whispers chased us everywhere, across classrooms, the gym, even the quiet stacks of the library. People looked at me differently, at us differently. Some with fascination, some with envy, and others with cruelty. It was one thing to be rivals. It was another to be tethered together by something no one could explain. Ryan tried to act like he didn't care, like the weight of their stares slid off him the way rain slid off glass. But I saw the cracks. Late at night, when it was just the two of us, his bravado melted. "I don't know how to be this," he whispered once, his forehead pressed to mine. "I don't know how to stop fighting long enough to let myself want you." I knew what he meant. Wanting him felt like betrayal of the years I'd spent hating him, of the pride I'd wrapped around myself like armor. But every time I tried to push him away, the bond pulled me back. Not with force, but with something scarier, choice. Because deep down, I wanted to stay. One evening, the tension snapped. We stood on the rooftop of the science building, the city lights glittering far below. The relic had been moved to a museum, locked behind glass. But I still felt its echo in my chest whenever Ryan was near. He paced, restless, his hands flexing like he wanted to hold something and couldn't. "Why us, Ash? Out of everyone in this damn world. Why you and me?" His voice cracked on the last word. I should have had an answer. Instead, I laughed, bitter and broken. Maybe because we're the only ones too stubborn to see what was right in front of us. He stopped pacing. His eyes found mine, sharp and shining. "And what's that?" That maybe hate was just another way of saying I couldn't stop thinking about you. The words tore out of me, raw and terrifying. That maybe I've been losing to you all these years because a part of me wanted to. Silence stretched between us, heavy and trembling. Then Ryan moved, fast and certain, closing the space until his chest was against mine. His hands cupped my face, and he kissed me like it was the only way to breathe. The bond flared alive. Not the ache of absence, not the tug of destiny, but something whole. Something that felt like belonging. When we finally pulled apart, his forehead rested against mine. "You drive me insane," he murmured, but his voice was soft. "And I think I'm falling for you anyway." I smiled, an actual smile, not the bitter ones I used to throw his way. Guess fate knew what it was doing after all. Weeks turned into months, and slowly the stares faded. People stopped whispering. Some even rooted for us. Rivalry gave way to partnership, to nights spent studying side by side, to mornings where he handed me coffee exactly the way I liked it without asking. We still fought. God, did we fight? Over class debates, over who got the last slice of pizza, over whose turn it was to do laundry. But the fights ended differently now. In laughter, in quiet touches, sometimes in kisses that left us both breathless. One night, Ryan dragged me back to the museum where the relic was displayed. The golden clock gleamed under glass, eternal and silent. He leaned close to me, his fingers lacing with mine. "I used to think destiny was a prison," he said. "Now I think it's just the universe giving us a push." I squeezed his hand. "The rest is on us." He kissed me there, in front of the relic, as if daring fate to prove him wrong. But nothing happened because we didn't need it anymore. For the first time in years I felt free. Not from him, but with him. And when he whispered my name against my lips, I knew the truth I'd been too afraid to admit. Ryan Carter wasn't my enemy. He was my home. And maybe destiny wasn't cruel after all. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.